Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're gonna just have a great day today. We are in the book of Judges by way of our devotionals. We're looking at different tests that different people went through, and we've gone all the way from Genesis all the way through Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, and now we're into this fantastic book, the book of Judges. Quite a sad period of time in the nation of Israel, how they had this cycle of mess up, try and fix up, repent, and then restore with God, and then mess up again. And it was just this continual cycle, and it always began with, and then once again this happened. And so you see this pattern all the way through the book of Judges. Well, we've got another one today in chapter 6. This is one of my favorite stories. It's a once again the nation of Israel had messed up, and they had fallen to the Midianites this time. And the Midianites had chased them up into the mountains, and they were hiding from them. The Israelites were hiding from the Midianites. The Midianites were plundering the lands and stealing all their food. And it was a miserable, miserable time. And the self-esteem of the Israelite nation was at an all-time low. They just saw themselves as the punching bag of all the different tribes that were in that area. How sad is that? They didn't need to be. They had God on their side. And yet because of this stupid pattern that they had developed, they never really reaped the benefit of the blessing of God. Anyway, chapter 6, the Midianites have overrun the nation of Israel, and the Israelites are hiding in caves. In one of those caves was a man by the name of Gideon, and he lived there. And he was in his cave, and he was in a sort of a place where he could thresh his wheat. He went down and stole his own wheat, probably. Came up, and he's in this threshing thing, and he's threshing his wheat, hoping that nobody's going to find him. When all of a sudden, he hears this voice behind him saying, "Hail, mighty warrior." And he turns around, and he sees an angel standing there, and he's so low, he says, "Man, I'm not a mighty warrior. I don't know who you're talking to. I don't see any mighty warriors in this place." And the angel said, "No, you are the mighty warrior." And he begins to argue with the angel. He says, "Don't you know who I am? I am the weakest man and the weakest family of the weakest tribe of the weakest nation of Israel. I'm a nobody, certainly not a mighty warrior." Lesson number one, people, you may be a lot stronger than you think. When we tell God we have not got the power, when we tell God we haven't got the giftedness or the ability, we mock the power of God within us to do that. And so Gideon puts God, first of all, before anything, he puts God to a test. He does it a couple of times. And the first test is the test of, am I really hearing from God? It's a great test. And I think he did the right thing. He tells the angel, "Will you take a seat? I'm going to go and make an offering. I'm going to bring the offering. I'm going to offer it to you, and let's see what happens." He does that. Builds an altar, puts it on, and he gives it to the angel. And the angel with his stick touches it, and the whole thing just blows up, and it's a power. And Gideon suddenly realizes, man, God is serious about this thing. God is seriously trying to get my attention to say, you are a lot stronger than you think. Stop acting like some spiritual wimp and thinking because you failed and you feel so weak and you feel so low that you can never do anything for God. Well, in my travels and in my time, I've noticed that there are people who use the same excuse. Trust me, I've used the same excuse myself. They say, "Oh Lord, who am I? You can simply use me. I haven't got the gifting and the ability to do what you really want us to do." And yet I have come to believe that when God commissions you, he enables you as well. So if God says to you, "This is what I want you to do," never wimp out by saying, "Lord, you got the wrong person." Put it to the test to see if this really is God speaking to you. And when Gideon found out that this really was God speaking to him through the angel, that this is a beautiful picture of him now saying, okay, past test number one, this is indeed God speaking. There's a whole lot more to come. But today, just test, is this really God speaking? Make your offering. See if God will do something, not in the context of a sacrifice like this, obviously, but you speak to God. And then Gideon named that altar. He so beautifully named it Jehovah Shalom. The Lord is my peace. That's a great thing. He made this that God is speaking, and the first thing he came to terms with was peace with God, that God is able to use him. Now the Apostle Paul, he justifies this and he argues it. He says, have you not noticed amongst you people how there are no rich, not many famous, not many highly gifted people? God uses the simple, plain things of this world to confound the big and the supposed strong. You see, when you do what you have to do, God does the rest. You don't have to be strong. In fact, you know what? I think some of you are too strong for God to use. You're too gifted. You think that everything revolves around you being able to do something. That's not true at all. People, that's not true at all. God is able to take the weakest of any one of us and turn it to be the strongest if we put it in the right hands. So make peace with God. Make your altar of peace. Jehovah Shalom. The Lord is my peace. And the peace comes from knowing that God has spoken. So if God is speaking to you today about ministry or doing something or just being a better believer, you need to make peace with that fact. Jehovah Shalom. It's a great starting point for ministry for the future. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you again. Bye.